Okay. And then Tina, could you help me by writing down the names of people who are here? So far, it's pretty easy. It's us.
Right.
But and I will ask people to introduce themselves, but it may help me if you would just make a little list. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and get started? First of all, I would like to have us approve the general meeting agenda, but I'm suggesting a change, and let me show you. Oh, here we have two people in the waiting room. Just a moment. Okay. Oh boy, these are our. Okay, Anna Cox and then Daniel DeMello. All right, very good. Welcome, Anna Cox and Daniel DeMello. Nice to see you, Anna.
Yes, nice meeting you too, Stephanie. Thanks for inviting me.
We're delighted to have you. We were just going to get going with by amending the agenda. So I'm going to share screen and bring up the general meeting agenda. And okay, here we go. Okay, fine. Here's the general meeting agenda. We'll introduce ourselves, go pretty fast because we want to make sure that our speakers have time. We have Tina, then Mary Lou, and then we have two wonderful guest speakers from Lane Middle School. So I'm changing this time to give Mary Lou Henrik a little bit more time. 10 minutes was not really a whole lot. And then Lane was agreeable. Lane people, thank you. You were agreeable to contracting your time. So we'll have those speakers. Then if any representatives are here from our partners, they can speak up. I know Linda Goldser just told me she cannot come tonight, so we will not be hearing from Master Gardeners. If there's time, I'll let you know briefly about the sidewalks. And hold on, somebody's calling me. Hello, this is Stephanie. Yes, okay. Let me do that. Let me find where you are. I'll send it by email. Okay. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you. Okay, excuse me, everybody. I need to resend to Mary Lou Henrik.
We can start with the introductions if you want while you do that, Stephanie.
Oh, that would be stupendous if you would. If you would do that, Kim. Just ask everybody to say their name and
Perfect. All right, you want to just scroll back up to the top. So I'll go. I'm Kim DeLeo. I am a board member. I sit on the Southeast Uplift Committee. I've lived in Brentwood, Darlington since 2015. And I'll pass it off to Gail.
Hi, I'm Gail. I'm a board member since 1992, and I'm so excited about sidewalks. Tina, go.
Save me for last.
Derek,
Okay.
go.
Okay, I'll go, Gail. Anyway, my name's Derek Covey. I'm a board member. I've been in the neighborhood since 2012. Before that, I was a board member of the Richmond Neighborhood Association from 2012 to 1999. What else can I say? I do many things. I've had a long career as a working realtor, and lately I've scaled that back, and I've decided on a hobby of being a max light rail operator in my free time.
Hobby.
Who's
Very
next?
Very
Oh,
funny.
good health insurance too. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I work for health insurance. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And okay, keep going, Kim. Who's next?
I think Tina, we're back to you.
Okay, I'm Tina, and I'm an advisor with the board. I used to be a board member, and then life just got a little crazy, and I like following my passions. So my current passion is spring green and gardening and environmental activism. and climate change in action. So I've been writing the monthly brouhaha for the garden tips and advice for the newsletter that started this year. And spring green really is my big thing, right? So last year it was okay. And
Wait, okay, well, go ahead. Never mind, go ahead.
in 2019, it started off as just the e-recycling. Then pandemic happened, and last year we started again. So we added the e-recycling, seed and plant swap with the community garden folks bringing their seed library, and then had Bikes for Humanity come to do a free bicycle maintenance workshop. This year, the person that had volunteered to take on contacting the different organizations ended up stepping out at the last minute, and I got really stupid crazy motivated. And so I have contacted a lot of people, a lot of organizations. And so this year we have Spring Green, the Green Century doing e-recycling. We have Bikes for Humanity doing bicycle maintenance workshop. We have Solar Oregon doing a solar basics workshop for free. We have the community gardens bringing seed starts and their seed library again. Johnson Creek Watershed sharing about our local habitat there. We have Twin Flowers natives bringing plants to be available. We have waste-free advocates coming, giving away goodies and coupons and information. We have Habitat for Humanity manning a table, giving more information and providing opportunities. We have the Zurich Society providing great handouts on the pollinators in our area. And again, just lots and lots and lots of information. I'm still waiting to hear back from Portland Fruit Tree Project, which is kind of like a community aspect of helping neighbors with their plants and trees and harvesting and pruning and the whole 9 yards.
Okay, we have to wind it up. Okay.
I'm almost done.
Okay.
Friends of Trees, Grady barrels for water redirection, because a lot of people in the community have been feeling the pinch of the water rates quadrupling, and many other organizations. So pass the word. I did, as of today, recruited a community member to do volunteer work for us, doing all of the Canva graphics for all of our upcoming advertising and marketing.
Okay,
So that's my news for the day.
Thank you so much. I'd forgotten that I said that you could talk about Spring Green when we were doing intro. So, but thank you very much, Tina. You've been a fabulous partner and a great rescue partner. Okay, so who is next, Kim?
Let's go with Anna. Hi, Anna.
Hi, I'm Anna Cox, and I am the current president of Lane PTA. And I don't technically live in the Brentwood-Darlington neighborhood. I live about a block and a half north, so just in the very, very south end of Mount Scott Arleta. So I do follow a lot of what you guys do. I also wanted to say that I'm going to speak about Lane PTA, and Lisa Kaufman was going to come. She's a teacher from Lane, and she wanted to talk about the DC New York trip that she plans every year for 8th graders at Lane. But instead, she asked me to present. She had oral surgery this morning. So, so yeah, and I'm not sure how long it'll take. You might have a few extra minutes, so that might be good. But I'm planning about 20 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, okay. Well, we look forward to hearing your presentation very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Lynn, would you like to go?
Yes, thank you. I'm also trespassing here. I'm representing the Neighborhood Association group. I work with a coalition of individuals and groups that we are seeking to alert the communities to the health and safety risks associated with the critical energy infrastructure on the Willamette River, the CEI hub. It's, like a 6-mile stretch of oil and chemical tanks along the Willamette River. We have a sign-on letter that we've been getting out of we've gotten nearly half of the neighborhood associations to sign on to it, and as well as we're working with about 40 groups, and they've all signed on.
Are you
And
with Portland Clean Air?
they're a group. It's a huge, there's so many, like
I see.
350PX. I'm sorry, what?
No, that's fine. Continue.
Yeah, we're not that. We're associated with all that. But anyway, so our particular working group within this huge coalition of groups working, you know, like river keepers, you know, and 350, a lot of groups. Anyway, our goal is to do a press conference in a couple months to alert, you know, to with this letter with all these signatures on it, to put pressure on city government, state and county government to think about the risks that are going on, especially when the earthquake happens. Because these tanks are on fluid soil that has been dredged up, and when the earthquake comes, they're just going to spill. And right now, I'm from UP, the University Park Neighborhood Association, and I can smell it all the time when I go up to Forest Park. So my ask is that this neighborhood association sign on to the letter. And if you want more information, we have a 10 to 20 minute PowerPoint about the subject that we could present to you at your next meeting, if that's what you wanted to do, if you wanted to pursue more information about it. Some of you may know about this already.
Can you, all right, so send me the letter at Brentwood.
Oh, I have sent it. Yeah, I'll send it again. I've sent it a couple times. I'll send it again. And yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Brentwood.darlington@gmail.com.
Okay, let me see if I have that.
Okay, but we have to move on now, but yes, we'd be interested in reviewing your letter and
Okay.
and possibly signing on. So you're fighting a
Should
great
I-
cause.
Okay, should I get off now and you're going to review the letter for the next time?
Yes, because we're still trying to do introductions.
Yeah.
People who are here at the meeting, and you didn't have a specific presentation time on the agenda. So
That's right.
We've
Yeah, I'm sorry for that.
no, that's fine. We're very interested to hear this. But if you'll send me the letter, I will share it with our board members in our neighborhood, and then we'll get moving on it.
Yeah, and if you want the PowerPoint presentation, I can get a couple of us to come on and do that next time. I'll put that in my email.
Okay, very fine. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for fighting this great fight. No, we really do appreciate it.
Is the email you sent me, I can find that online?
Brentwood.darlington@gmail.com.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody.
Oh, thank you. And
Yeah.
don't go away. Stay with us. Okay, so Kim, who's next?
Daniel, and then Stephanie, you'll be the last one.
Have you introduced yourself too?
I have. It's Daniel's turn, and then you'll go.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Daniel.
Hi, I'm Daniel DeMello. I am a Kearns resident, just jumping in here because I'm running for city council here in District 3, and I just want to hear what's going on in the neighborhood. So thanks for having me. And Stephanie is next.
Yes, okay, yes. All right, I'm Stephanie Frederick. I'm the chair. I've been chair for about a year and a half. Big learning experience, really great people. And I'll stop there. Okay, so we revised the agenda to change the presentation time for Lane to 6:55. I move that we adopt this agenda unless there's discussion. Do I have a second?
Gail seconds.
Okay, Gail is seconding. Any discussion about the agenda? Okay, no, then hearing no discussion, I am going to assume universal acceptance or approval. Okay, all right, so we're introduced, the agenda is adopted, changed and adopted. Let's get going. And Tina has spoken. All right, let's hear from Mary Lou Henrik. She's candidate for Oregon State Representative from our district. Con Pham, who currently holds a position, is trying for state senator, right? So Mary Lou, go ahead. Are you there, Mary Lou? I see your image. You are muted. Hello? All right, if you can try unmuting you, I will, I'll see if I can unmute you myself. Well, I don't see a way for me to unmute you. And once you're here, then you ask to share screen, and then you could show your video. Can you, if you can figure out how to speak, I mean, I see you, you're at our meeting.
I know that I can see myself, my picture, but I can't, put my real screen on, who I am, which is a problem. So I'm wondering, I'm really sorry. I don't know what happened, but I just got up another 2 Zooms and it worked fine.
Yes, no, I'm sure. And I've just been willing to, I mean, was able to share and nobody else is having a problem with their, can you leave and come back? Okay, I'm sorry about this, but I don't know what to say. Okay, all right, bye-bye. Okay, that's Mary Lou Henrik. She's not able to unmute herself, and then she has a video she wants to show us, but she can't share it.
I think you have to make her a co-host in order for her to share. I'm not sure about her mute issue, but I think she has to be a co-host in order to share a presentation.
Well, I'm glad to make her a co-host and see if, okay, admit. And then, okay, let me try making her co-host.
Yeah, it's to me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Mary Lou, I've made you co-host. I have tried to unmute you, but I can't.
Unplug it, plug it back in. That's all I got.
Mary Lou, did you hear that advice? Do you have something that you can unplug and plug back in? Hello?
Why don't I just defer and come back next month? I don't want to lose time trying to mess around, and I don't know why this is happening.
Nor do I. I'm very sorry, Mary.
May 21st, and I'm going to be knocking on doors, and I will get back to you, and let's try the next month whenever your next meeting, okay?
Okay, all right, very fine. Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, well, she's going to try to come back next month because we can't seem to accommodate her, but I don't know what the problem is at all. So let's go to Anna Cox, but before we do that, Mary Lou Henriks's website is in our agenda. I'll share screen one more time. So you can see it's called MaryLouGetsResults.com. So do go to her website and learn what she's all about, and then we'll see if we can get her back next time. Okay, so Anna, Cox, we're going to turn to you early because as we can see, we couldn't get Mary Lou in, and why don't I will stop sharing now. And
Okay.
why don't you go ahead with your presentation?
Can I just say goodbye and thank you for listening? And
Okay. Oh, Lynn, yes.
I
And I, Brentwood dot
I
Darlington.
sent it already, so
Oh,
it
fabulous.
through, so
Okay. We
thanks
will
a lot,
follow up
everybody.
on this, and thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for
You
joining us.
too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. All right. Well, this
All right.
is an exciting start to the meeting. All right. Why don't you go ahead?
Thank you, Stephanie. I have a little bit of a Google Slides presentation. And Lisa also sent me some a short presentation on the DC New York trip. So I'm not sure if I can just go ahead and share my screen.
Well, let's see. I'll make you a co-host just to be sure. And then I need to see if I need to stop sharing. Am I done sharing? Yeah, I think I am. All right, so why don't you click share screen and then go to your presentation.
Okay, all right. We'll try this. I am not very skilled with this, so.
Well, that's all right. You're joining someone who's not very skilled at it either. Then.
So, I'm not sure. I lost my little, let's see. I lost my little menu bar. There we go.
Okay, you see share screen, right?
I think so.
At the bottom in green.
Yep, got it. Got it. So just go ahead. Try not to create an infinity window.
Okay. And then you choose the document that you want to use.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
I know, my thing is a mess, huh? Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Here we go. Oh. All right. So I'm here to talk about Lane PTA, and we're the PTA that serves Lane Middle School. And for those of you who don't know, who aren't familiar, it's right in the share right behind the Brentwood Darlington Community Center. And it's located in Brentwood Park. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what a PTA is. First, we are a PTA. You'll hear a lot of terms thrown around like PTA, PTSA, PTO, and it's pretty boring stuff, but there is a difference, and PTAs and PTSAs are part of a state and national organization. So it's been around for 125 years, and we are a chapter of the Oregon State PTA and the National PTA. You might hear parent-teacher organization, that some schools have that. I think Woodmere, just down the street in elementary, they have one of the largest PTOs that I've heard of in the area. And they are not associated with the PTA. We're actually a separate organization. And there's a difference for that. The big difference is, well, the reason that we decided to become a PTA, and we just started last year in May. This is our first year in existence at Lane, although Lane has had a PTA in the past, but it kind of went dormant during the pandemic, like a lot of PTAs. So we restarted last May. We do have 501(c)(3) status, and we're granted that automatically. That's one of the reasons that we became a PTA. We also get a lot of support from other PTA branches. We've been able to get a few grants from them. And for all of us on the board, I think except for one person or maybe two, and there's 5 of us, we have never run or held office within a PTA or tried to run an organization. So this gives us a roadmap for that. And it's been really helpful. The downsides of us being a PTA are that we have a lot of rules, a lot of regulations. There's stereotypes and history about the PTA. So for example, when schools were segregated, so were the PTAs. There's a lot of history that we have to overcome and recognize. We also have to charge membership dues. A PTO does not have to charge membership dues. So we charged $10 for our dues. $9.50 of that goes to the state and national. So we really don't make any money off of our dues. And I'll talk a little bit about Lane. Like I said, I live in Mount Scott, Arleta. Lane serves students, our boundaries are really big. The schools that feed into Lane are Woodmere and Whitman, which are pretty much solely in Brentwood, Darlington. Kelly Elementary, which is over in Lentz area. And then they just recently added the Woodstock neighborhood program. Woodstock is a really big school and they have 2 tracks. You can either be part of the Mandarin immersion program, which feeds out to Harrison Park Middle School, or if you're part of the English program, then Lane is the school that those kids go to. So the really nice thing about having Woodstock added is that Woodstock Business Association actually encompasses all of Brentwood, Darlington. And so it's been kind of a nice way for us to establish more connections with the community and with our businesses. Lane is Woodstock's neighborhood middle school. So it's been a kind of a great way. It's given us a little bit of what makes Lane unique amongst the other schools. And there's a lot of things. I couldn't really say what all, but some of the main things are that we are smaller than most of the other middle schools. We're actually considered under-enrolled, and that's why Portland Public Schools just decided to add the Woodstock school over. Portland Public Schools wants middle schools to have 500 students because their schools are assigned so much staffing and funding based on the number of students that they have. Lane only has about 380. So that gives us a smaller number of families to pull from than, say, Selwood or Hosford, some of the nearby schools, or even Kellogg, which I think has over 700 students. So they're twice as big as us. We're also a Title I school, and that means that we get a little bit of extra funding because over 40% of our students qualify for free lunch based on income. So we have a lot of families that maybe don't have a lot of extra money to spend, can't help us out with the fundraisers. So that's why we really want to reach out to community members and also do what we can with what we have. So, and Stephanie, I just got a notice that somebody entered the waiting room, Lisa J.
Oh, okay.
Did I admit her?
I just admitted her. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Lisa, sorry for keeping you waiting.
Oh.
Okay.
So over 60% of the students at Lane qualify for free lunch based on income. So again, we have a pretty diverse school. We're also really diverse in race as far as the number of students who are not white. When you compare Lane to some of the other schools, we are probably the most diverse middle school in Southeast Portland, maybe Harrison Park might be similar, but that's more Central East. We have people from a variety of ethnicities, so many languages. I think there's 18 different languages that are spoken by students at Lane. So there's different learning styles. We are the home of the Portland Public Russian Immersion Program. And for those of you who aren't familiar with immersion programs, this is when you send your child and they're learning another language at school. So this starts at Kelly Elementary and kindergarten, and the students are exposed to, I think it's about 50% full Russian instruction from an early age. The Russian program at Lane and at Kelly has really decreased in enrollment. We think it has a lot to do with the Ukraine-Russian war because many of the families that had traditionally enrolled are Ukrainian, and there has just been such just, I don't know, such strife from that. So that has really decreased. We only have about 30 or 40 students in our program where we should have closer to 100. We have other special programs at Lane. We have some special education classrooms that are for students who are learning life skills and can't participate for all of their classes with everybody in the general education classroom. We're an AVID school. That's a program that is designed to help students who have the potential to go to college, but maybe their parents didn't go to college. There are barriers that they need to that are being addressed. So they're taught skills that are kind of ready to make them more college ready. And Lisa Kaufman, who is going to come tonight, she is one of the teachers of AVID over at Lane. And this DC New York trip started out as an experience for her students. And now she's expanded it to all 8th graders. And our goal is to really just keep growing it every year. We also have a SUN program. If you've been at Brentwood Darlington in the afternoons or the summers, you'll probably see that running. Kids are out doing all kinds of activities. It's a completely free program. Our kids love it. My son is taking cooking classes. He's in a Dungeons and Dragons group, game master, a sports mixer. They even had fencing last fall. So we have a lot of supports there. We also have ERCO, and ERCO funds some staffing and some different, I think they fund the food bank at Lane. And then we have something called Campfire Kids, which is a program that they're assigned specific students and they follow the kids, offer them after school programs, camping programs. So we do have a lot of programs, but I would say they're very well used. So you might wonder what a PTA does. And I know we all have ideas in our head when we think of the PTA mom. The state and national PTA, they have written this mission. The PTA's goal is to make every child's potential a reality by engaging and empowering families and communities to advocate for all children. So some of the things that PTAs typically do, well, first we support all the students, staff, and teachers at Lane, and that LMS is Lane Middle School. So even if parents are not involved in the PTA, we still are supposed to support those students equally. We're in process of creating an equity lens so that we can look at projects that are proposed to us and have a system so that we are really talking and thinking about who is this impacting, who's benefiting from this. And we want to make sure it's not the same students. And it's not just a particular group of students that are benefiting. We support everybody at the school. PTAs fundraise to pay for things not covered by the school budget. So I think we all have an image of a PTA bake sale, someone selling cupcakes. We do that. So we also support the dances at the school. We do decorations, we provide concessions, we can host our own events. It does take a lot of work, but for example, the Harvest Carnival that happens over at Woodstock every year is hosted solely by the PTA at Woodstock, and it's a huge event. I think they serve 350, 400 kids at the event. We can pay for equipment, so things like new soccer goals, sports equipment, and we offered to pay for that this year, but fortunately they had some extra Title I funding, but we know that funding can always change. So that's something that we sometimes need to pay for. We can pay for field trips. We can offer scholarships. So at schools that have after school programs where kids have to pay, a lot of times the PTA will set aside so much money that is just for kids who can't afford to pay for an after school program but want to be involved. Luckily, all of our programs are free, but we have been talking about funding, say, Golden Ball. We have a Golden Ball team this year, which is basketball. So we've talked about setting some money aside for that. Other programs that kids might want to pay if they need to pay fees for sports, we hope to be able to fund that. Fun activities at the school. So we are talking about trying to find a way to rent a Kona ice truck to come into the school, and working on getting some sponsors for that. We've done family game nights. We're going to be hosting a pie night. So March 14th, 3.14 pie. We're hoping to have that. So the PTA is usually the main group when the principal or teachers call and they need volunteers. They often go right through the PTA. So we're the ones coordinating all of that. We can advocate for students in our school at the district level. I'm actually in process of getting something ready to go and talk to the board within the next month or two about how things are going at Lane, and as we get ready for budget cuts, what we are thinking we need. And we work closely with the principal to find out what their needs are and their concerns are. We host activities and events for students. We were able to host a family game night. Thank you, Stephanie. She helped us to be able to borrow the Brentwood Darlington Community Center. This was during the strike. So, and I think that meant a lot for the kids that showed up. They were able to be around their friends, not feel so isolated. We hope to be able to do more of that. We also do a huge amount of teacher and staff appreciation and support. And we've gotten a lot of positive feedback this year from the teachers, just because we've done soup luncheons, and we did a teacher's brunch last spring for Teacher Appreciation Week. We also we just try to show the teachers how much they mean to us. And sometimes that's something that doesn't always happen unless you have an organization actively planning and providing that. As part of the PTA, one of our rules is that we have at least a 3-to-1 ratio of non-fundraising activities to fundraising. So, and we really try to stick to that and try to go over that. So we're not all about fundraising. We are about building community and making families and students feel empowered. So what have we done this year? These are some of the things that we've been able to do. And as I said, we just formed last May, but we were able to have a student-run carnival at Woodstock Gives Back. And that was through the Woodstock Business Association, because now that Lane is the local school, the local middle school, we found some partners over there. And we've also offered $100 grants for all teachers and staff who work with students. And the teachers and staff have used it to buy decorations, or the counselor used it to buy bean bags and rugs for his room so that it's comfy. Other teachers have, some of them have used it for direct materials, but again, it's all the stuff that teachers would pay for out of their pocket. And if we can just show them that, hey, we're listening, we're here, we know what you do, and we know how hard you work. We've gotten a lot of good feedback about that. We maintain the staff room. We were able to get a refrigerator. There hadn't been a refrigerator for a while in the staff room. We got them one of those. We stock the staff room with treats. We clean things. We go in, we just do whatever. One of our PTA members is an interior decorator. And so she has taken it upon herself to collect things off of Buy Nothing groups. And she hasn't asked for any kind of reimbursement, but she's been able to kind of redecorate it. And it's made a big difference, I think, for some of the teachers. Not everyone, but some of the teachers have said that they really, really appreciate all of that we've done. Teacher appreciation activities. We've had a soup potluck during the extra week that teachers had to work after the strike, just to kind of keep their morale up, because that was a really tough time for everyone. And they were being asked to work an extra week when some of them had plans to go on trips, and the students were going on trips, and it was just a rough week. We've decorated the front lobby for Hispanic Heritage Month and Black History Month. We hope to do a lot more of that as we go. We also have our own Lane clothing closet over at Lane, and it's supposed to be just for emergencies. We have a washer and dryer for students to use if they don't have access to that. And then there are just times where kids show up and they showed up in flip-flops and they need to run the mile for PE. So they need a pair of shoes, or something happens to their shirt, or something happens to their pants and they just need something to change out of. We have a bigger PTA clothing closet that's through the district, and that's where we try to refer people to get full wardrobes if they're needing more than just emergency stuff. But if you guys do have any donations, we try to accept like new items, things like socks, hats, hoodies, always welcome. We've held monthly dine outs at local restaurants. And that's where, because we have that nonprofit status, where we ask local restaurants if they would host a Lane dine out. And then we all get together, we advertise it, we go and visit, and then the business will give us a certain percentage of their profits. So we just had one earlier this week at Otto's Pizzeria. We've been able to form a really great relationship with Cloud City Ice Cream. It turns out the manager is a Lane graduate and he lives in Brentwood, Darlington, and he is thrilled. He has talked repeatedly about how happy he is to be able to be giving back to Lane. So we try to do that at least once a month. We held the family game night during the strike, We would love to do more of those. We just have not had the opportunity. We organized a Solve neighborhood cleanup in conjunction with a community member. And so the community member, TJ, she went through the Solve training, and then we advertised, we all showed up. I think we gathered about 240 pounds of trash out of Harney Park. And we're hoping to do more of those this spring around Brentwood, Darlington, and possibly branching out into the other neighborhoods, including, I don't know, Woodstock, and also wherever our students live. So we've been able to help with things like, it's called OBOB, stands for Oregon Battle of the Books. And so we've been able to help supply volunteers for that. Some of those things are, it's very hard for the teachers to do that without volunteer support. And we just act more like a coordinating organization for them. So some of the things that we wish we could do. We are really small right now. I think we have 16 members, and at least a third of those are teachers. This compares to, say, some of the other PTAs that are up in the hundreds. So we're, again, very small. I would love to have regular volunteers at the school. The administration and the teachers have said that it's just wonderful to have parents, community members, anyone just walking around and talking to the students. You never know what kind of connection you're going to make. You might really make a difference and form a great friendship with a student, and you never know how they're going to see you. So we would also love to create an outdoor sitting space for students. If anybody has ever been a teacher, or if you remember from your schools, when you had to have indoor recess, that was really tough. And so having some kind of area for our students to be at, that would be wonderful. That's a dream. We have 2 indoor gardens at Lane. So they're kind of like atriums. They're fully enclosed by the building, but they are gardens. They're kind of in disrepair. We would love to see those become something that's usable. And the previous PTA had done a lot of work and put in some benches, kind of created a sitting garden. We have one staff person at Lane right now who has been putting in so many hours trying to fix that up. One of the gardens probably needs a lot more work. So I think it could be a great space if we could get like tables and things. Kids could eat there, teachers could eat there, and be outside. So we'd also, if we had more funding and more support, we'd love to be able to sponsor larger projects for teachers and school improvements. You'll hear about the PTAs being able to buy huge amounts of, new computers, 3D printers, soccer goals that cost $3,000. Those are kind of out of our reach right now, but we're hoping. The DC New York trip for 8th graders is another project that we're sponsoring. And we would love to be able to fundraise so that all of our 8th graders who want to go are able to. And unfortunately, that's just not, we're not able to do that right now. And, but we hope that we're going to continue to build momentum every year. And we're trying to look at other schools and see what they're doing. So things that we would love help with, we're actively recruiting volunteers all the time. We will have the PPS PTA Clothing Center. We're required as a PTA branch to send 5 to 6 volunteers over, I believe it's for a 4-hour shift, 4 or 5. And what you do, the PTA Clothing Center is open, I think, 2 days a week. And students ask at their school for a referral, then they're given a day to go over there. And so they have to leave school, they have to be with a parent, which can be a barrier. They are allowed to just do full-on shopping while they're there. And from what I've heard, it's just a really big area, like a warehouse with so many new clothes, and they accept new like new. So if you do know any students who are looking for clothing, looking for shoes, um, uh, anything like that, you can have them ask at their school. This is open to anybody in Portland Public Schools. And if for some reason the student is not able to get there, like say their parents work, or they're just not willing to take them, which sometimes happens, we can also request things for them. So just recently, we had our front desk secretary asked us if we could get 15 beanies. She is on a mission to make sure that the kids are wearing hats. And she asked them what kind of hats they would wear. And most of them said black beanies. So I don't know if you've noticed, kids don't wear winter coats anymore. They wear hoodies and beanies. So she requested 15 black beanies. One of our members emailed the person at the PTA Clothing Center, and they're sending those over. So we're able to really use that as a resource. We're also planning on, we are getting into the planning stages of Pie Night. And so this will be a night where Lane students and their families will come on March 14th, and they'll be able to engage in different activities that celebrate Pie Night, so math, basically. And also, I believe it's Albert Einstein's birthday that same day. And then we're going to do a little bit of a pun, where we're also going to be eating pie, pizza, and other types of pies, dessert pies. So I'm hoping it'll be a really good event. The school is helping us to sponsor this. So if anyone is interested, we do have that. We're also, again, looking for volunteers for lunch hour, recess. Our front desk clerk has asked us multiple times if we could be in charge of changing the sign out front of the school, like putting up the little events and things like that, because it's just something that she doesn't have enough time to do with everything she has to do. And unfortunately, all of us work during the week, and so the days that we're available changes. So we haven't been able to do that. I already talked about the clothing closet, indoor gardens. And then we just have other projects that come up. Like sometimes someone at the beginning of the school year, the principal asked us if we would move things from one classroom to another because they were clearing out. So there were, I think, 5, 10 of us who were just hauling bags of things and moving them with a trolley. So things like that, putting together binders for kids, those things just come up. Events that we'll have.
Anna, if I might ask you to go quickly through the rest.
Oh my, I have really gone over.
Well, it's been very interesting, and we need to know all this.
Yeah.
We're very interested, but we're running out of time, and we have the board meeting coming up next. So
I'm so sorry.
No, just speak faster.
All right. So here's our mailing list. Things that you can do to help. You can sign up for a mailing list. You can join as a member. Community members are welcome to run for office. You have to be a paid member. Other ways to help: drop off treats. We have a bottle drop, a recycling program where you can return your empties, fund us, come to our dine outs, follow us on Facebook, all of that. And then there is the part, I'll go ahead and I'll switch over to the trip for New York, DC. And unless you want, we could also do this at another time.
You know what? That might be good to do,
Okay.
split it up and do this at the next meeting, and
Okay.
then
All right.
and
Yeah.
then we can give it the proper amount of attention that it ought to
Yeah.
get.
Yeah.
So why don't we do
All right.
that,
I
Anna?
apologize. I got really caught up by the time. So
Oh, no, it's really interesting. You know, we haven't had somebody from Lane come and talk to us for years now. And so it's all really, really important. And I can't believe how much you get done with what you're with the few members that you have.
oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really amazing. So real fast, does anyone here have any questions for Anna? And if you have questions later, we can send them to her too.
When my oldest daughter was in 6th grade, there were 2 of us.
Oh,
Beginning of the year on the PTA.
oh, really?
We recruited more, but in the very beginning, I looked at Zora Lee and said, just us?
Oh, interesting. Okay, well then 16
there.
sounds a lot compared to 2, right? But you'd rather have 32 or 40, right? Okay, then. Okay, thank you very much, Anna. That was really excellent presentation. I'm bowled over by how much you're doing and the imagination that has gone into all this and all the hard work. It's incredible swath of programs and tasks. And oh my gosh, I guess we thank you so much for sharing this. And then we'll look forward to having you in March to talk about the AVID and well, and just the New York, Washington trip. It's not only AVID students anymore. And okay. And then I'll be talking to you about the distribution of flyers for the for our upcoming e-cycling event. So I've gotten word back from the oversight agency, and yes, we can figure out the insurance and supervision and so on. I'll just get back to you with that. But it would be great. I mean, that'll be a great way for kids to get trip volunteer hours.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
All right. Lovely. Okay. Well, thank you again, Anna. And then we look forward to hearing from you next month as well. Then. Okay, let's, all right. So why don't you stop sharing? I guess you already did, right? And we'll go back to our agenda. We don't have anyone here from Black Futures Farm, Master Gardeners, or Woodstock Library, so we won't be hearing their news. We'll go on to items of public interest very fast. So we got word from PBOT that the sidewalks and greenway are coming soon. Now, we've heard this before, but this sounds like the real deal because I know that the city council just approved the contractor that they wanted approved. They've done all their temporary eminent domain work that allows them to take over land temporarily so they can lay in concrete. And then the federal money came in last year. And so everything is in place now. So in a couple months, we should be seeing sidewalks being laid down. And this is, for those of you who don't know, this is a sidewalk infill on both sides of Flavel Street and Duke Street between 52nd and 82nd. So we're going to be able to walk with, our baby strollers and our grocery carts all the way up and down those streets for the first time in history. It's a big deal. And we're grateful to PBOT. We know they've been delayed, but their budget has been destroyed. They're having to lose a lot of people. There have pandemic issues hurt them as well. And so they've actually been pretty heroic on our behalf. Then one other thing, just recently we had a lot of trees come down because of the wind during the ice storm. And so I'll post an article, and I don't have the website right here of certified arborists, but I'll be posting it. There's a recommendation out there that I read about in Oregon Live. We should have our big trees evaluated to see whether they are stable, because we're going to be getting more ice storms in the future. We're going to be having more weather extremes in the future because of the climate collapse. And so I know, so I will so urge all of you who have big trees around, and I'm one of them, I'll urge myself, be sure and have an arborist. We're going to be worth the money. You know, they may say to top the tree or something so that it's less likely to come down. But don't overlook this. You know, try to get your trees evaluated right now before the next ice storm. Okay, so that gets us through our agenda. At this point, in line with our bylaws, I want to ask whether anyone who's present would like to suggest item for future agendas. And let me say that at the last meeting, you know, we had a good discussion on street speeding and street safety, and that needs to come up on an agenda. I also had someone reach out to me via our email asking, he's a newcomer, he's asking why Cooper Street is a lake and so on. People who live on Cooper Street, right, Tina? You know, that's a long-standing issue. But I told him we should put this on an agenda and bring up again to educate people why our streets are the way they are right now and what progress has been made and so on. Because it's good to remind people that PBOT has actually done a lot for us in recent years. There's still a ways to go, but with a department that's had its budget cut in half, we're not going to see much happening very soon. So Cooper Lake will be seen again. But all right, is there anyone here, board members, whatever, visitors, who would like to see another kind of item added to a future agenda?
I was glad when Cooper was just graded and gravelled. I thought that was pretty keen.
Yeah, I don't know if there's money for grading and graveling again, but I'll try to find out.
Hey, once every 20 years, whether it needs it or not.
They were going to try to do it every 3 years, but
yeah. I'll mute again.
Okay. All right. So, all right. I don't hear any suggestions coming up. Then I think I will adjourn the meeting. We have a board meeting that follows right now. So stick with us if you want to do board stuff or say goodbye, and we'll see you later. Okay, Anna, goodbye. See you in March.
All right. Thank you so much.
Again.
And I'll send you some of this stuff, okay? If you're, all right. Bye.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right, I'm going to close out the general meeting agenda. And yeah, we'll save the, okay. And let me share screen and go to our board agenda. And that's not it. Wait a minute. There it is. All right, very good. Okay, so we'll note which directors are present. So all 4 of us are present. That's Tina. I mean, I'm sorry, Tina, former board member. Stephanie, Kim, Gail, and Derek are all present. Vivian, I don't know whether she is still a board member or not. We will see. So, but for the record, 4 of us are here. The meeting is being recorded. And we have, who else? Who else is here? I see somebody named Simone Brodner. Simone, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey, I'm Simone. I'm not sure why I'm here. I got the email about the meeting. I thought the general meeting started at 7:30. Should I leave or should I stay?
Oh, you're very welcome. to
Mhm.
stay and hear what we have to talk about. And the general meeting, this starts at 6:30, and you missed a wonderful presentation about what the Lane Middle School PTA does.
Oh, got it.
It's actually very interesting. So anyway, please feel free to stay, and then if it doesn't interest you, you can drop out, but you are very welcome. So
Awesome.
thank you.
Well, I
are
live in
you
the neighborhood.
I'm sorry, what?
This is my first meeting. I live in the neighborhood, so I thought I would check it out.
Oh, lovely. Well, you might, okay, very fine. If you like to join our mailing list, you could go to the Gmail, brentwood.darlington@gmail.org. I mean, gmail.com, excuse me, and ask to be put on the mailing list. And then we'll send you agendas and other stuff. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. And how long have you lived here?
I've lived here for 5 years.
Okay. All right. So you're familiar with the neighborhood and some of the issues and so on. Very fine. Okay, good. All right. Let's go through the agenda very quickly. We need to approve minutes. I don't have the treasurer's report ready. The end of the month was at midnight last night, and I don't have I don't have time to work on the report today, so I'll present it next time. Then we need to approve our application to Southeast Uplift for fiscal sponsorship. And so we need to go through the answers that I've proposed and see if you want to make any changes. I do want to check in on Spring Green again, although Tina gave us a nice overview in the other meeting. And then I wanted to talk about recruitment and how I'm not quite ready to go out and recruit people. I feel like we need to take a step back and do some foundation laying. So I put together a little PowerPoint. And I'd like to go through it with you, and we can take our time with the recruitment. I realize that we're down to 4 board members, maybe 5, and but it's interesting that at this level, work for me is much easier. So I think that speaks to who's here and who's not. So anyway, we will go through my little PowerPoint, and I hope you'll bear with me as we make our way through it. And then at the March board meeting, Nancy Champlin has offered to take us through a little exercise on our values and aspirations and so on. And she's wanted to do this for a long time. So I thought that now might be a good time to do it. And then we have a series of reports and announcements to take care of. So does anyone propose a change to this agenda? Oh, Kimberly, hi, Kim.
I don't have any changes. I was just going to welcome Simone. I apologize. I'm off camera. And just Simone said that, when I, got comfortable living in the area for a while, I joined in on a meeting to check it out and to see. So I'd encourage you to stay and hang out, but we get it if it's not your cup of tea, but happy to have you.
Oh, very nice. Thank you, Kim. Thank you very much. And I second everything that Kim said. All right, so if no additions or changes to the agenda, I move that we approve the agenda. May I have a second? Okay, Gail. All right, very fine. And any discussion, dissension? No. Okay, hearing none. I assume or state that the agenda has been approved by all of us. Okay, so I sent you some minutes attached to the agenda. I'm going to assume that you read them. Obviously, I read them because I put them together. So I approve of them, but do you, is the question. Do you have any changes or any revisions to the January minutes for the board and general meetings? Okay, hearing none. I move that we approve the minutes for those two meetings. Do I have a second? How about letting Derek second it?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Derek. Okay, all right. And then, as I said, I'll present the treasurer's report next time, because the end of the month statement from Advantis just became available at midnight and last night, so I really haven't had enough time to work on it. Okay, let's go to looking at the I'm going to stop sharing the agenda, and I'm going to go to the fiscal sponsorship application. So I'm stopping sharing on the agenda, and now I'm going to share the, oh, here we go. Okay. Okay, so Southeast Uplift made this as difficult as possible. They have an online application. So I went through and I filled it all out, and then I tried to print it and I could not. So then I couldn't share the my responses with you. I could take screenshots, but it would only show some of the responses because not all are exhibited on the form. So I went through their form, and in the meantime, their form is all filled out, and I left it open, and then everything, all the contents vanished. So I'm going to have to fill it out again. So I'm not in a happy mood about the way they do this, but I went through their form, I put down all the questions, and in blue are the answers that I gave, and I need to hear from you whether they're okay. All right, 1 is our name. 2, do we have any changes to the people we said were the I guess they call it the main team from last year? Okay, so last year, principal coordinator Pam appointed herself, then I was secondary, and then Pam was the treasurer. Okay, so this year, I'm the principal coordinator, and then I asked Gail if she would be secondary coordinator, and then I decided I'm asking Gail for too much stuff, so then I asked Derek, but then both of them said, oh yes, they'd be glad to. So I had to go to the magic 8-ball and ask who should I put in, and the 8-ball said, okay, well, go ahead and stick with Gail. So Derek, thank you
Great.
for your willingness to
Thank
sign.
you, Gail.
I'm slightly more available.
I'll save you for next time, Derek.
Woohoo!
And then the person tracking expenditures is me, but it's temporary. So that's going to be my answer to them for who is our sort of a little core admin team. Do we have any accessibility needs or requests? No. Any changes to our mission, vision, or programming? No. Are we planning to apply for 501c3? No. So what have been your greatest accomplishments or successes? So I put the following. We advocated for the Lower Southeast Rising project plan. We improved the website. We posted many useful notices to our mailing list. We carried out an electronics recycling event, hosted movies in the park, and we twice enabled a local grassroots artisan group to offer an artisan market. In addition, we have worked with Impact Northwest on reviving the local community center to embrace the neighborhood and beyond. And by the way, let me tell you that I talked Impact Northwest into applying for a PSEF. That's the city grant source right now connected with climate resilience, and they are applying for it, and I'm helping them with the application. So this is for a planning grant, and I can talk about that later, but this is very exciting. And then Commissioners Maps and Rubio responded to our request to help our beleaguered convenience stores, which are all operated by Korean Americans or others of Asian identity. We offered publicity on behalf of the Lane Middle School Food Pantry. they needed volunteers, and they did get some because of our advertising to our mail list. And then we helped Black Futures Farm. We helped Malcolm with a Parks and Rec PSU focus group. They needed they needed a venue, and they thought they had it set up, and then it turned out the parks wouldn't pay for it, and it was very minimal, so we paid for it. I used my executive privilege, so, you know, I can, up to a certain amount, I can approve payments without board approval. And so I think this was, between paying the monitor and paying for the space, it was under $100. So they were Black Futures Farm was very grateful, and we were glad to help them. And then we manned the front desk. I did, and then Lisa Jameson did at the community center to give striking Lane middle school teachers entrance and respite from the cold and wet. So, you know, there was a nice list of things that we did this last year. So what challenges have, okay, so does anyone want to make a change to this, what I just read, our greatest accomplishments or successes? Did I overlook anything, or did I state anything incorrectly? Okay, I don't hear anyone speaking up, so we'll go on. Okay, what challenges have you encountered? You know, I'm seeing a big one, and I'm going to bring this up in this PowerPoint that I put together, that I have finally realized that our neighborhood at large, I think, that has by and large lost sight of who we are. I think the pandemic hurt us as far as people knowing what BDNA is and does. And so I think we need to regain lost ground there. Also, I think that learning the most effective means of communicating with people is a big challenge. I think for the electronics recycling, we've printed extra inserts of the inserts. We made extra copies of the inserts that are going to go into the B to advertise the event. But I asked for another big chunk because it was only $2 more for getting several hundred. Okay, Lisa, wait, just one, let me finish my sentence and I'll call on you. And so I'm going to work with Lane PTA to have kids distribute flyers, paper flyers by hand up and down their streets under parental supervision. So this gives kids hours that they need for earning their trip. They get sponsored by their parents and neighbors and so on. And it helps us communicate with people in a non-electronic way, which I think is good. Okay, Lisa, go ahead.
I was just going to suggest that you actually articulate what you said, but it doesn't say under what challenges. I think you should say during the pandemic, we, you know, neighbors lost track of who we are or something like that. I mean, that's not good language, but you see what I'm saying.
No,
Just
I know, but I'll
explain,
fix it. Yeah,
yeah, explaining why the neighborhood has to recall who we are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll revisit that. Thank you very much, Lisa. Okay, good. All right. Are there other challenges? Okay, so here's another challenge, is improving the website. Thank you, Lisa, for getting us back on track with WordPress, and I've been working on it. One of the things that we've done now is Derek is providing monthly information about housing data, how many houses sold and the average cost and sales pending and so on. And so we created a page under land use to track those, to track that data. I think it's very interesting. And so that's the most recent addition to our website. And if you haven't gone to our website, please go, because it has a nice landing page, very pretty picture of the park and so on. It's much more inviting than than our others, and I thank than our previous version. And thank you, Lisa, for you and your friend for making this possible. Really appreciate it. And so then we have a big challenge, engaging able, energetic volunteers as board directors, advisors, and on-call volunteers. And I think this is a challenge for everybody. I'm hearing from all kinds of organizations that they're looking for volunteers, and it's hard to get volunteers these days. I read an article recently saying that of the 50 states, Oregon has shown the largest decline in volunteer hours of all the states. 15% decline. So as in the last couple of years. Why this is, I don't know, but this is a challenge. As you're reading this question, what challenges have you encountered? Do other challenges for us occur to you? Or is this enough challenges?
I don't know if this is the right place to put this, but I see the inability of the community to use the community center as a big challenge for BDNA.
Okay, well,
Maybe that doesn't
oh,
fit
the
here, but
inability. Oh, I see, because of the way it's being run. Yeah. Okay. So we are definitely working on that. I would very much like to have you join that effort, and a two-part effort. I mean, one is working with Impact Northwest, but also the other one is we've been given hours to dispense, and we also have a direct line to the facility supervisor, so that if people want, if they want evening hours, we have evening hours to give away. If they want daytime hours, we connect them directly with Russell. So we need, and you said this yourself, we need to advertise to the community that the community center is opening already and is available. We
okay,
got
yeah, I'm just questioning, should we put something about that in here or not? I don't know.
well, let me okay, let's see. I think so. This isn't exactly the right wording, but it'll be a note to myself to add something. I can't think right now. So well, I'll come back to this, and I'll put that we want we want greater usage. Okay. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, no, I think that's a good one. It is a challenge. It's a different kind of challenge from the others, a more specific programmatic challenge, but that's fine. Okay, anything else? Okay, does everyone think these are that these are real challenges? Have I just invented anything? I don't think so. Okay, let's go on to here. Best estimate of dollars you aim to raise over the next year. That there's a choice. It's under 25,000, over 25,000, and ours is clearly under. Which types of fundraising do you expect to engage in? Applying for grants, requesting in-kind donations of goods or services, and working for share profits, as in Sparrowhawk. Those are the three that we're most likely to do if we do any fundraising. There's incidental fundraising, but they didn't have that. By incidental, I mean in connection with the electronics recycling event, people do donate out of gratitude, but that's not the main focus. That's not the main reason for holding the event. And
Stephanie, why wouldn't we request business sponsorships for activities, for events, like the film in the park kind of thing?
well, because we never have, and we don't have many businesses to ask. But if you think we should highlight that,
I think we should. Either we'll do it or we won't, but it seems like a likely way to me.
Okay, so
I
Do you
mean,
have a
what do other
business
people
in
think?
mind?
I'm
I
just
mean,
offering opinions.
yeah. Okay, well, that's fine. We should probably start branching out from what we've done in the past. So thank you. Okay. All right. So then Southeast Uplift wants to know how its fiscal sponsorship program can better support our organization. So that was open-ended. So I don't like how our money sits over there and just sits and loses value. So I'm suggesting that as long as they're holding, $13,000 of ours over there, that they put some of that anyway into CDs. And the reason it's over there is it keeps us safer from tax liability, which we still haven't found out about. So anyway, I'm suggesting that they do something about keeping our money from losing value. Be nice to find bookkeeping support, although I'm finding that by doing the treasurer work and finding that being a member of the organization makes it way easier to track stuff and find receipts and or understand why something was done and who did it and all that. So I'm not sure that having an outside bookkeeper is going to be that helpful, but it would be nice. I mean, if we could share say a bookkeeper with two other NAs, and that person would be a 1/3 member of each board and connected with each board. I don't know how we would work it, but I do think that this is something that they could help us with. And then I reached out to a tax consultant that helps nonprofits, and they wouldn't even, and I wanted to know, what is our tax liability and what do we need to do? And this place would not even talk to me. I mean, I did talk to somebody, explained what we needed, and they wouldn't engage. They wouldn't accept us as a client. So I don't know whether it's just a moot point and we just ignore this tax liability risk. It may be so low that it doesn't matter. I mean, we're a little teeny organization without a lot of money, so the IRS is probably not interested in us. But anyway, I feel that since so many neighborhood associations are the same type of nonprofit as we are, it should be the oversight agency that figures out what our tax liability is for all of us. We shouldn't be individually trying to figure it out. Gail, yes.
At the Woodstock Library, soon, if not this weekend, there will be tax professionals available for free to answer your questions and or figure out your taxes.
I think that those people, they just do individual people's taxes.
That's just for individuals.
Yeah, I would suggest that we edit this to say, yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah.
Why don't we just say determine tax liability, if any, of BDNA?
Okay. Because that's a good point. I mean, they're saying your organization. So, all right. Okay, fine. Anything else that you think this fiscal sponsorship can do for us? Okay, well, we'll leave it at that. All right, so then Southeast wants to know what training topics would they like to see us offer. And so I've suggested the following: to work with NAs to develop professional expertise. How should we operate at our most professional as board directors and as governing unit, and then developing useful dynamic purposes and tasks, because I feel the neighborhood associations in general across Portland are rudderless right now. We're not, we used to have a purpose when we were first created, but that has been undermined and has changed over time. Lisa.
I'm just going to suggest, as I did previously that you flesh out, when you write professional expertise, if I read that without your explanation, I would have no idea what you meant. So it sounds like you're saying board development, basically, right?
Oh, okay, let's just say, yeah.
And similar, the next topic, I'm not sure exactly what that means. So I think you have to articulate more clearly what you have in mind there.
Okay,
Purposes and tasks for the organization, for the board. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking of purposes and tasks for the organization.
Okay.
Because I feel that
You're asking them for help to help the organization identify their purposes and goals, or
yeah. Yes.
yeah, I mean, I think we can just wordsmith this. If people agree in general on these ideas, we can make them a little bit more clear.
Okay,
Yes.
any other comments in response to what Lisa is saying about how we can better word this?
Well, or I mean, do people agree with these as training topics, or do they have other training topics that they think that we need?
Okay. How about it, Kim? What do you think? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm thinking.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No problem. I think that looks good.
And how about you, Gail?
I think it looks good. Training topics. That looks good. I like
Okay.
to invest the funds in the CDs, or you could put other savings options if you want to.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think the point you're making is that you want to
We
to
want
have the
more money.
funds generate more funds, right?
Mhm.
Make the money work for us.
Right.
There you go.
Okay.
Other
Okay.
interest-bearing options, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that works.
Okay, thank you. This is great, you guys. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's hard to do this alone, so I'm really
Yeah.
appreciating your involvement here. Let's go back to 12.
So Stephanie, for 12, do you think we should add something about, like training for hosting events, or I don't know, something along those lines? With the multiple insurance, aspects of hosting events, or maybe ideas for hosting events or something like that.
Okay, so I feel that I have a pretty good idea of, actually the insurance. It would be nice if they would explain the insurance again, because
Luck.
what?
Good luck. We've been asking that questions for decades.
I know. I mean, no matter what comes up, I have to reach out and ask them, well, is this insured and what do I do? And it's it's very gnarly. It just but Kim, you're suggesting that you would like to see us gain expertise in how to put on an event, including making sure that it's insured.
Right. All like, kind of dotting the I's, crossing the T's. And if that coincides with training on ideas for, money-making events. You know, not sure if that's relevant to this section, but that was
Okay,
just
so
one
what? Okay, so is this okay? Expertise in putting on events, including insuring them, or
Yeah.
okay, but this is a good time to change them or add things. So
I
So-
would almost put advice in hosting community outreach. Hosting community outreach.
What does that mean exactly? Because we already say effective outreach, engagement, and communications.
Oh, so are you talking about when we put on an event, we make sure that what?
Well, as our parent umbrella, they should have some sort of means to get the word out.
Right, but the question here is what training topics do we want them to offer us? So that's you're talking about kind of a resource where they would assist us with an activity or
They
with.
used to once upon a time. I'd like to see that come back.
I just don't know if it fits under training topics.
Yeah, maybe not.
It might fit
Okay,
under
but-
our, maybe it fits under our challenges that we need help with that.
Yeah, I think effective outreach, engagement, and communications covers it.
Okay, Tina, I'll remove that for the moment. Tina?
Okay, so under 12, the effective outreach, engagement, and communications, I would also include especially social media platforms, because that's going to save you the most amount of bang for the buck. And then in the expertise of putting on events, including insurance items, I strongly suggest they give some trainings on doing it as committees, because currently most things are headed by the whole board. And learning how to actually do it as a committee with a board member basically heading it up and then doing a report is a whole different ball of wax and a much more efficient use of time and energy and resources. But that also gives you a way to have a committee to engage the community in the community, the community center, of utilizing, scheduling the times that we've been given to distribute as we deem fit.
Committee building?
Not just building, but committee enactment.
Ah,
You know, how to actually get them going, how to get them efficient, how to encourage board members to engage without trying to do everything. We all want to be a part of everything, but that's not a great use of resources and energy. We each have only so much time and energy to contribute our fullest before we start dropping things. So helping community members and board members to engage within means without burnout is a real big skill.
Oops, what did I do? Oh, okay. Okay, so let me say event expertise, creating committees to carry out events. So, okay, so I put something about not, so the whole board isn't engaged or what?
no.
Okay,
Yeah, Southeast loves it when the whole board's engaged.
say that again, what?
Southeast Uplift loves it when the entire board shows up for things. They love that.
Why don't
Well-
we say ensuring adequate
And have that
insurance
bandwidth.
coverage?
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, we could have the whole board engaged in an entire board can be active, but some board members are in one committee and some board members are working on BDCC and some other board members are starting our climate program. And, you know, it's So the whole board is engaged. You're right, Gail. Southeast Uplift loves that, but they don't know how I have to be engaged on the same thing at
Exactly.
once. Mhm.
So if we're gonna put event expertise as a training topic, should we add publicity? I don't know. I mean, it seems like we're getting kind of granular here, like more granular than I would expect, but
Well, that's okay. I mean,
yeah.
I
Okay,
think
well
it's
then why don't
okay
we just
that
add,
have publicity,
yes,
publicity, command of publicity, complete expertise.
publicity and community engagement or something. I don't know.
Okay.
I'd put marketing instead of publicity. It's the same thing.
Okay, yeah,
Sounds
you're right.
nicer.
Marketing is the right word. Thank you. Again, I would go back to purposes and tasks and encourage you to flesh that out a little bit, Stephanie, but I don't think we have to do that right this minute.
Okay, and maybe I'm just stuck on this business of, you know, I want to see the neighborhood associations in general across Portland come back to their former glory. And they started with a purpose, and then that was
Right, but
undermined, and
right, but this is not, it's not going to be clear to them that that's what you're talking about. But we
yeah,
could
I think I'm
we
gonna
could
take
talk,
this out for the moment.
all right, or we could talk offline and try to flesh it out.
Okay, well, let me put this down here. And okay, okay, fine. Thank you. Okay. Because with that, we don't talk about that at Southeast Uplift, and I wish we would. So maybe yes, okay. I think I would like to leave it in after all. Okay, anything more on number 12? And thank you all for your engagement. I really appreciate it. Okay, all right, hearing nothing. Let's go on to number 3. Okay, oh, that's just share your links or handles and we'll promote you. Okay, so that's for them. Okay, what events are you planning to hold during the next year? Okay, so we're offering electronics recycling on March 23rd. We're supporting another Brentwood Darlington Artisan Market on June 29th. And then we'll be offering movies in the park, but we don't know exactly which date yet, right? Is that right, Gail? We don't know the date yet. Okay, but that's all we've got so far. And if we want to do National Night Out or something like that, we can always add that later. I really don't want to be as heavily involved in in putting on events as I've been in the past. I mean, it was good to learn how it's done, but I really need to be doing some other stuff, board chair stuff that I've neglected in favor of learning how movies in the park works or how an electronics recycling thing works. And I've loved working with Gail and Tina and so on, but I need to be doing other things. So if we add more events, it's with the understanding that I may sign the checks or help a little with getting a grant or something, but I can't be at the store buying ice or whatever at that
Yes,
level.
we all recognize that.
Okay, fine. Okay, good. All right, then they ask some housekeeping things. Are you current on registering with the Secretary of State? Yes. What's your registry number? That's so they can check to see whether the yes is true, right? Then 17, are we current with the Department of Justice? Yes. And then will your organization engage in any of the following activities? And there's just one where we might, that's movies in the park, and possibly the e-cycling, especially with it's so amped up with wonderful vendors. Now we may, in the course of it, get more than 300 people. But the rest, alcohol, high impact sports, dangerous activities, we don't get involved in any of that. So we'll just stick with activities with more than 300. Then they want to know, is your organization currently party to a lawsuit? No. Which of these demographics apply to your leadership team, which is us, the board? Well, not too many. We have some females. We don't have any BIPOC right now. LGBTQ, no, that I know of. Immigrant or refugee, no. English as a second language. Disabled, no. Elderly, I'm your candidate. I'm the elderly representative.
Me too.
Oh, yes. Okay, Gail. All right, Gail.
There's a bunch of us. Who does this include? Does it,
I turned
it-
65 at the end of the year.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I should put elderly in caps, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Derek, you're looking really good, Derek. And don't forget Vivian.
Well,
She's still technically a board member, so
I
you
guess she is still technically a board member, so I guess I'll go ahead and highlight that, but
are you including advisors or just board members?
we could, I mean, you and Tina are so engaged, we could include you. Why? Are you unhoused? Are you a youth?
No, you can highlight the second category. I'm a B.
Oh,
And
okay.
we have nobody that's, I don't, what is low income? I suspect some of us might qualify. They're not gonna ask who.
I am just kind of a moderate income.
I mean, what's their
Oh, I
measure
don't,
for low
I
income?
don't know.
Well,
But that
then highlight
reminds
it.
me, speaking of low income, when after we get going again, we should go around to some of the trailer parks and see if anyone wants to join us and represent trailer parks.
So Stephanie, I have to intercede here.
Yeah.
According to my Aunt Judy, the correct term, at least in the real estate world, is manufactured home.
Oh,
Yeah, so heads up, unless you're, that's a safe way to be.
Yeah, nobody that lives there wants to be told it's a trailer park. I still think you
that's-
should highlight low income. I think I might
Yes.
qualify.
okay. Okay. All right. So which of the following demographics is your organization? Well, let me go back to 20. Is anyone here a renter? Immigrant or refugee, disabled? Okay. All right, 21. Which of the following demographics is your organization focused on serving? Now, I put none of the above because focused on serving is like Latino Network is focused on serving Hispanics.
All of the above.
Apano is focused on serving people of Asian identity.
I agree. I think we are
so
focused on serving all of the above.
All of the above.
unfortunately, they didn't allow all of the above
Why
as
not?
a choice.
What
It's-
about neighbors, Stephanie?
We can't add, this was a multiple choice.
This is
Oh
their
my goodness.
categories.
Oh.
They didn't allow any additions or subtractions.
Well,
I can't
So-
form anymore, but you said, is it kind of things you highlight for multiple choice? For this
I'm sorry,
question?
say that again.
Right. If we highlighted all of them, then we would
Yeah.
be choosing all of the above.
yes.
There you
Especially
go.
disabled,
Yeah.
'cause we need.
Okay, I like that. It's a form of rebellion. I think that's good.
Mhm.
Okay.
All of the above. If
I
it-
love that, you guys. That would not have occurred to me. Thank you.
if
Thank you very
any one of
much.
these people will help them.
Okay. This is great. Okay.
We will
All right,
help them all.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. This is wonderful. Okay, which languages are most used? Okay, we speak English. And then they go into some stuff here on it's kind
Right.
of
Those all look
admin and
good.
bureaucracy, are we may only seek funding once the renewal contract has been executed. This really confused me recently because we hadn't executed this. This is an application for a renewal contract, but I needed to apply to Metro for a refresh grant. And but then I realized that the old renewal contract didn't expire until March. And so anyway, there's bad wording here.
Yeah.
And we're okay, we're fine. We do not we agree we're not going to engage in the following activities. We're not going to participate or intervene in any political campaign on behalf of or in opposition to any candidate. We're not going to induce or encourage violations of law or engage in carrying out of propaganda and so on. So we agree. We won't do that. Does your organization anticipate seeking to influence legislation? I put no, but you know, we
No,
might.
there's no,
We'll
Yeah,
just
not in
say
the
no.
not in the foreseeable future.
yeah.
I mean, like, you know, I'm sorry, but you've got a board of 4. You're not going to be doing
Yeah,
that.
you're not influencing in reality. You're educating the neighborhood and giving legislation the chance to be spoken about. So unless it's something that's detrimental to our neighborhood, you're not even sending in a letter. That's not really influencing legislation.
We're not gonna be lobbyists.
Okay, but you know, this Lynn,
Are you going
who-
to be a lobbyist? No.
Yeah, that's what it's asking, Stephanie. You don't have to have any answer other than no for that question.
Correct.
Okay, but let me raise the question of this Lynn, who was here earlier, who she wants us to sign a letter opposing, you know, these fossil fuel storage facilities on the Willamette River. That's not exactly influencing legislation, though,
No.
is
That's
it?
not lobbying. That's taking a position on an issue. That's completely different.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, we're not we're not slipping money under the table to
We won't be badgering legislators. Correct.
Okay. Okay, now here's something I need. Okay, we're down to the final question, and thank you all for your engagement here. This is extremely helpful. Is there anything else you would like to share? Okay, well, this is me speaking. I said we believe that the new city government structure offers a strong and exciting opportunity for neighborhood organizations to regain strength, purpose, recognition, influence, and financial support. I don't know.
No,
Is that all right with you to put this in there?
yeah,
Okay.
just
What
like
do you think? What do you think, Kim?
Sorry, I was on mute. I agree.
Okay. Or is there any, or should we be sharing something else? I mean, this is my belief, and I've stuck a we in front of it and forcing it all to extend to you, but maybe we don't even want this in there. What do you think?
Looks good to me, Stephanie.
Yeah, you're not
Do you wanna
forcing
vote on
anything.
it?
You've got
Okay.
unanimity. Everybody's saying yes. so
Oh,
far.
okay, fine. Wonderful. All right.
Although I
Then-
do have a question about the influence. That was part of the problem that the previous incarnation of our government was twitching on a stick over, was the amount of influence that neighborhood associations had.
You're looking at number 25 here. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So I'd almost pull out that one word, even though by educating and participating and giving strength to the neighborhood associations, there is intrinsically influence. But if they read that word, I would be hesitant in their response to that.
no.
You
it's
think
a lobby.
Southeast Uplist would be uncomfortable with that?
Oh boy, howdy. They were so uptight about the influence that neighborhood associations had just over cleanups.
Yeah.
Oh geez. Okay. Well then
We
that's a
can-
good
we
idea.
we can remove influence then.
I still just keep the no. We do not anticipate lobbying.
Okay, yeah, we won't influence legislation and we'll remove influence from this statement. It's already a pretty strong statement, so we can give up one verb. Okay. Opportunity to regain strength, purpose, recognition, and financial support.
Financial support is definitely needed.
Definitely, yeah. It is. There's no question about that. And we used to have significant financial support. Okay, so there's one thing then that Lisa and I may discuss offline, or we can always wait on training topics for next year or suggest them later. I'd like to get this in. Maybe, what do you think? If I just take it off, we could always ask Southeast Uplift directly. And then that would give us time to talk it over, Lisa, and then share it with the
Yeah,
board.
this seems like a general question. What do you think you'd like us to offer? It's not a specific, request for classes or anything. So
Yeah.
I think it's fine if we leave it off.
Okay, fine. All right.
Yeah, I think it's good as it sits.
Yep.
Okay, so board development, effective outreach, engagement, and communications, especially social media. And then event expertise, creating committees to carry out events, ensuring adequate insurance coverage, marketing, and community engagement. Okay.
That sounds good.
Yeah, that does sound good. I would welcome training on that. All right. Okay, we're done. I can fill out that form and get it in. Then Gail, I'll print out the last page and I sign it, you sign it. I'll come over and pick up the flyers.
Half
that
of
you've
the
done.
flyers, I still don't have my color ink yet.
Okay, well, that's all right. We'll take the flyers you have, but in any case, I want to slow down on the recruitment, and let me get to the PowerPoint right away. We spent a lot of time on this whoops, excuse me. I'm going to stop sharing here on this fiscal sponsorship. That was a really good discussion. I appreciate very much how your help with that. Okay, let me do my little PowerPoint real fast. We're going to run over time. Please bear with me. I'll hurry through this. And okay. Okay, participants can now see your application. All right. So supposedly, according to the PowerPoint instructions, I can advance from one screen to the next. We'll see if that is going to be possible. All right, so before we go through this, I wanted to say, we worked on handouts for recruiting, and we talked about recruiting, but I have felt like I really can't, I'm not ready to go out and say to people, join our board, become an advisor, enroll as an on-call volunteer. I feel like I want to have a better grounding in who we are and what we do. And oh yes, we went to the next one. Okay, so I'm thinking before we invite others to join us, let's spend time getting to know who we are and what we want for BDNA. Oops. Oh, shit.
Stephanie, unfortunately, I've got to leave at this time.
Okay, and I
Yes.
don't know what happened to my.
No worries. Yeah,
There it is.
so yeah.
Okay, I'll
Thank you,
catch
and
up with you later then.
okay,
Garrett.
thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. All right, next. Okay, so I feel we need to tell, instead of just recruiting, feel like we need to tell others about BDNA because the pandemic took a toll, and I feel that BDNA has dropped out of view across the neighborhood, especially as people retreated to technology to stay in touch during the pandemic. We were not visible there. So before we recruit, let's lay some foundation. But first, maybe do we think of ourselves as the committed core? We're all still here. I think of us as a committed core. And that is just the concept you might keep in mind when talking to people. And we are the ones who are still here, even through the summer when BDNA collapsed, and we are still here. And so I think of us as very committed. What should we be working on? So our bylaws say that we should enhance the livability of Brentwood Darlington, which is a very mushy term. But you sort of get the idea that we try to make it easier to live here. The bylaws say we should connect with government agencies and other neighborhoods. We do that. for example, with the, we've connected a lot with PBOT over the sidewalk infill and the greenway and so on. And finally, the bylaws say that we should enable members to involve themselves in the affairs of BDNA, BD, I mean. Are we doing these? Enhancing, connecting, enabling? Yes. As far as advancing livability, we supported the Lower Southeast Rising Plan. We advocated for speed bumps on Southeast Flavelle Drive. We've done a whole lot on the livability scene. Connecting with government agencies. Well, we obtained city resources for our convenience stores, and we co-hosted candidate forums with Woodstock, and we're going to do it again in early April. We haven't, over the last few years, including the time that I've been chair, we haven't really enabled residents to involve themselves in the affairs of Brentwood Darlington. And I'm just specifically thinking how our bylaws say that we need to enable residents to contribute to the agenda, to join in. We should maybe have a forum. We've kind of excluded participation in. I should really say that in the BDNA and thus in influencing the neighborhoods. We got to do better on that front. But so right now, though, I've just gone through this little review of our bylaws and what we've done. But I am actually very interested in what each of you thinks that BDNA should be doing as we go forward, because I've never asked you. And I go off and do a lot of stuff as I'm learning to be chair, but I would like to know what you think. And I would also like to know that if you had your wishes, I mean, suppose you could get a bunch of volunteers and a couple of other directors and work on a project, and I would sign all the checks and get grants, and it was a clear track for you to do something. What would you personally like to work on? So these questions are I just want to know what's in your heads, because I haven't ever asked you, and I apologize for that, but now I want to know. So in a week or so, I'm going to reach out to each of you, including our advisors, and ask, because I want to know. So I have a good idea with Tina and Lisa, but let me pause. Gail.
I would like to see the community center restored, painted,
Right.
cleaned up, roofed, solar, etc. And about the last slide, I know why that enabling neighbors to become involved is in there, because once upon a time the meetings were closed door and we said never again.
Oh, really? That is very interesting.
That's why if somebody wants to join us, they are allowed, as long as they're not criminals.
Oh my gosh, that is fascinating. I had no idea.
That's
okay.
Why,
well, I want to
everybody.
Okay, good. All right, that's very good to know. And yes, I want to work on the BDCC also, and so does Lisa. I think we all want it open again. But in any case, I want to know what's in your heads, and I want you to know what it is that you would like to do before you begin telling people about BDNA and inviting them to join our effort. So tomorrow I'll email you the 3 bylaws points along with the 2 questions, and I'll call you soon to talk with you and listen to you, what you have to say. And at the March meeting, Nancy Champlin has offered to take us.
Her name is Nancy Chapin. Chapin.
Oh, okay.
I've worked with her frequently.
I beg your pardon, and I haven't spelled her first name right either.
Nancy? No, Nancy's right.
No, she is spelled with an I, not a Y. Nancy.
Either way.
So,
but
okay,
yeah.
well, fortunately, she can't see this, so I'll fix it before she ever does.
I'll never tell.
Thank you. Okay. All right. She's offered to take us through an exercise on our shared values and vision. And I think that on top of thinking about what we'd like to do and giving our bylaws some thoughts and so on, then an exercise like this that Nancy is proposing will be very helpful to us. And I think that okay, hold on a second. We can begin some outreach in March. We can share rather than recruit. We can boast about BDNA rather than say, okay, we need someone to take the minutes or we need a treasurer. Forget that. Don't even ever say that. And I have to thank Lisa for this because I initially, when I was trying to put together materials that we could use, I was focusing on on our needs, and she suggested that no, let's be more positive. What do we do that is fun and attractive and that people would like to be involved in? So I'm doing fine with the minutes and the treasurer. I'd rather focus on us as a whole and being a magnet and spreading the word and slowing down and be thoughtful about it. We're fine right now. Okay, so if we know who we are, our shared values and aspirations, if we know what BDNA is and can be, and what we'd like to be working on, then we can talk about our neighborhood association with confidence and enthusiasm. We can educate our neighbors about what we are and can be. We can take those flyers in hand and just have fun. And without recruiting, we'll be recruiting. And that is my little slideshow. So I'm going to stop sharing here. And I just, the basic message is let's slow down, take stock, and then extol BDNA and be proud of ourselves, and then invite people, join our mailing list, come to, put yourself on a volunteer list, and just we'll creep up on them. Then we'll see. Well, now, as long as you're doing such and such, why don't you join the board? But let's take our time with this. And because we're doing fine. I'm on top of all the administrative stuff right now. And I'd like us to become a team going forward that really loves the organization and can reach out and affect other people or infect other people with our enthusiasm. So does that sound okay to you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, very fine. Well, then tomorrow I will send you the questions and the little bylaws summary. And then following that, in a week or so, I'll give you each a call and learn what's in your head. I'm not making you commit to anything. I just want to know what you would like to do and what you think about the BDNA. And that's it, because then that's going to help us with recruiting. All right, let me bring up the agenda again. And oops, maybe it's gone. Stop share. Okay. Maybe it's still around. I'm going to get rid of the PowerPoint. And then let me see if the agenda is still here. All right. Do you see an agenda? No. All right. Share screen. Okay, here we go. I'll master this someday. All right. Well, thank you very much for taking the time. We're already over time, but let me just look at what we need to go through here. Very quickly, Kim, what happened with the Gaza meeting? The board.
So there were several proposals. Well, an initial proposal for a letter to support ceasefire in Gaza. First letter that was proposed had some pretty strong language that was, to be quite honest, unnecessary for a letter to public officials to stop the ceasefire. So we had a special meeting to kind of talk over that, to see, you know, if there was language we could strike from the original proposal that everybody would feel comfortable with, and then we could approve it. So that is what happened. We struck some language in the letter, and then we were able to provide a letter of support for city commissioners and believe the mayor's office. I'll have to check on exactly where it was going, but it was going to city officials, I believe.
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask, to
Yeah.
whom it's addressed. Okay.
And just some of the language that people felt was aggressive was, it kind of, one paragraph was like basically saying, you know, that we know, you know, society's based in white supremacy beliefs, you know, kind of like devolved this one paragraph, and it was just kind of added, but didn't really add anything of value. It kind of just came across aggressive.
I see.
Not that it's, you know, maybe not true or whatnot, but just in the context of, you know, you're trying to offer this letter of support as an organization. We're not trying to, you want to be effective. You don't want to just have, you know, your support just dismissed because you were, you know, overly aggressive for no reason or confrontational. So I think the end result, I think the letter looks good and it passed. You know, a couple of people either refrained or voted no, but overwhelmingly it passed. So we got that done.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. I thought it was really interesting that the board, so the Southeast Board met for that's on that subject. That was there anything special from the board meeting in December that you recall?
No. Okay. And then this is kind of the bye week, you know, because it's the 1st of February. So I'll keep you updated on the next BDNA meeting.
Okay, thank you.
And Stephanie, I'll be happy to send you a copy of the Gaza letters.
Oh yeah, that would be really interesting. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, okay. I'll share it with the board, and if you'll send it to me. Oh, very good. All right, and the maybe even put it on our mail list. I don't know. Let me think about it. But so then a couple of announcements. Nancy, whatever her name is, Chapin, has said that I had asked if we would move our April 4th meeting because Southeast wants to have a big open house mixer, to which they're inviting all the District 3 city council candidates. And they want to show off their new basement, which I guess was flooded and wrecks. And in connection with this, Southeast Uplift may be used for the field offices of the 3 people who are elected to be our representatives, which I think is kind of cool. And then on a date to be determined, the Office of Community and Civic Life will explain the new government structure as it relates to or neighborhood associations, or where the neighborhood associations are inside the new government structure. And that will be a hybrid event. So you can participate at a distance. They only have a limited number of seats for this. And I don't know what the date is yet, but I'll let you know. Okay, and that's it on reports. Any other business that anyone would like to bring up? Tina.
So I'm gonna do my thing on spring green because
yes, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
We have 7 weeks for this event.
Yes, okay.
To happen, and I'm not doing all the work. So we had a person signed up to line up all of the vendors, and they let me know a week and a half ago that they'd sent out a very vague 2-line email to a quarter of the vendors that was on the list, and had gotten, and that was like that within 3 days of that, and that they could no longer deal with that. So as a board member, I'm like, okay, well, I understand you need to take a step back. Great. So I took it on. So in the last week and a half, I've lined up 9 for sure's, and I've got another handful pending. But we still have, and I've found a volunteer. I actually put out a feeler to the neighborhood today, and had 4 people respond to me almost immediately, volunteering to do Canva graphics for us.
That's
Um,
fantastic. Wow.
So there are volunteers. They just need to know that we want them and what to do.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
And then we still need to, once those graphics are made, probably before the end of this weekend, they're all going to have to get scheduled, which I think I only have access to Instagram, maybe. And then we still have to do sandwich boards and pass out flyers and get the flyers picked up from the printer to the bee. So there's still a lot to be done. Okay. So if you've got any spoons at all in any energy to contribute, I would really greatly appreciate it, because right now I'm really tired for something that I was going to help chair and coordinate, but not actually do all the work for.
No, you've been working overtime on this, and so
get the word out, because all this work, and then within 7 weeks, if we don't have the word out, we won't have anybody there.
Well, we're going to get the
at which point I will cry.
What happened was I couldn't apply for the scholarship for the grant until we had a budget, but we didn't have a budget until we knew what fees the vendors were going to charge, if any. And so I scrambled on that and got it done. And then with Tina's help, I had to make a little revision, or I missed one part of one question. And thank you, Tina, for helping me successfully fill that in. So our grant request is successfully submitted to Metro in time. And then we got the insert for the B approved by Green Century, which helped us a lot with it, and it's off to the printers. I'm expecting them to be done by tomorrow. But now, Kim, you had volunteered to drive the 4,000 of those things and checks over, pick them up from the printer and drive them over to the B headquarters. Does your workload, given the ice storms, permit that? Because if not, I can do it.
No, I think I'm fine. What day is that needed?
Well, I think we're looking at Monday or Tuesday, but let me call Eric Norberg and set up an appointment. But we're either Monday or Tuesday. So it means coming to my house and picking up 2 checks. One is for the printer and one is for the B.
Okay.
And go to the printer and pick up 5,000 copies and then keep 1,000 aside and deliver 4,000 to Eric Norberg. And I'll alert him that you're coming. And
okay, that's all local though, right? You don't have me going.
He lives in Selwood. It's
okay.
It's
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, Eric's place is super close and easy. I've done it once, but it just doesn't work with my work schedule.
Yeah, I've got some flexibility. You said early next week?
Yeah, either Monday or Tuesday. So let me
Monday before 2:30 p.m. works well. I've got a lot of time Monday morning, and then I can squeeze it in after 12 o'clock on Tuesday.
So yeah, just get the word out. We've got a free.
Yeah.
I ended up convincing the folks over at Solar Oregon to do a basics workshop for free for us. They're not charging us at all. Okay, this is usually several $100s for an organization to get them signed up, and they've agreed to do it for us for free. We didn't even have to put it in our grant. Our grant request really didn't go up much in expenditures beyond marketing, really, and food.
Only $100 over last year. Lisa, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I have some time. I'm gone this week. I'm back on the 10th. And I have time on generally on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So just get a hold of me directly. You had a whole list of things that needed to be done, and I can't even remember what they were, but distinct tasks. I'm happy to help with a few of those for sure.
Well, thank you so much.
Get your pen down.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I echo that too. If you need something, you can just text me. That's probably the best way.
Okay, thank you.
If it goes to my email, Stephanie, it could be buried.
I'm sorry, say it again.
If it goes to my email, it could be buried very quickly.
No. I know. I understand that. I will text you. I will communicate by text. And
awesome. Thank you.
I have a question. do we have a list of everybody that's on the board and the advisors with all of our contact information?
I can send that out again.
All right,
Yes, we
thanks.
do, but let me make a note to myself. All right.
They keep shrinking.
I know,
That's okay. You know something,
I have to say I'm worried.
I don't feel that worried.
Okay, good. I think those of us that are like de facto board members might as well just admit that we are at this point, but.
I agree.
Yes,
Anyway.
I certainly feel that, I mean, you contribute so much and you're
Mhm.
always present and so on. So yes, I feel that our advisors, Tina and Lisa are essentially board members, effectively board members, yes. Okay, well, thank you, all of you so much. And Kim,
Awesome.
I will lay out
Okay, that's fine.
what the timing and when to pick up the text and what to give to Eric Norberg and the whole
Mhm.
bit.
And then
Thank
you would want me to swing the 1,000 copies back to you?
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, that's
Because
fine.
we're
Yeah,
gonna
you're,
have,
you,
yeah,
Okay.
we'll have students run them around, and this was originally Tina's idea to have student runners, and it turns out fits in really nicely with the students'
Okay.
need for volunteer hours, which we'll learn about in March
Yeah.
for their trips to New York and Washington. Okay, let's stop. It's very late. Bless you all for hanging in there. I really appreciate that you're doing that. I'll get hold of Derek separately
Mhm.
about answering the PowerPoint questions, and I know that he'll be glad to. But he just had to go. And I'm gonna say good night and thank you again. Really appreciate you, and we're gonna be good. I
And
have
Simone, come back, and if you want to be
future.
on the board, we want you. We want
Mhm.
you.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you so much for having me. This
Yeah.
was really awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you think it was
Thanks.
interesting?
I did think it was really interesting. I honestly I had no idea any of this was
Mhm.
going on, so I feel like I've been under a rock. So it's really good to
Mhm.
I appreciate all the work that you guys put in. It's really
Oh,
awesome.
well,
Mhm.
don't hesitate to tell other people and
I-
come back and for our meeting next time and join our mailing list. Just write to me at brentwood.darlington@gmail.com and I'll put you on our mailing list.
I think I'm on the mailing list, which is how I found the meeting. So
Oh, fabulous. Okay. All right.
That's awesome.
Okay, good night, everyone.
Good
Thank
night.
you so
Have a good-
much. That you're just terrific. Okay, bye-bye. Bye. Okay, let me see. I have to stop the recording. Okay. Okay.